Hi everyone and welcome to my video. Today I'll be talking to you about how to propagate a string of bananas plant. This is one of my string of bananas that I have. It was outside all summer and it was really big, it was huge. So I cut a whole bunch off of it already. And there's a few more pieces that I can salvage on it. And I'm gonna propagate them and put them in a new pot, and I will show you how to do that. Here are ones that I have already done. These are from that same plant. You can see these are already done. And I just put them together in a hanging pot. And then it kind of looks like this from the bottom when it's hanging. It doesn't look like much right now, but they grow like crazy. And in no time, it'll be all full again. So you want to start off with a clean pot, a pot that has drainage. I'm using this glazed terracotta pot right now. Usually I would use plastic, but I don't have any plastic ones right now, so I'm just going to use this one. And the reason I usually use plastic is because I usually hang these plants, and plastic is just lighter to hang. But I'm not going to hang this one, so it's okay. And then afterwards, I'm going to put it in this overpot, and then it's just going to look like this from the outside. Nothing wrong with this pot, but since it has drainage, it needs to go into something to catch the water. And string of bananas don't mind being in terracotta. I know some plants don't like it, but string of bananas don't need a lot of moisture. They like to dry out between waterings, so it's fine in terracotta. So I had my soil mixture prepared already, and if you want to know the exact mixture, you can go to my other video on repotting plants. But here it is. I already put it in the pot, and I also pre-wet it with just enough water to give the soil moisture in it. So you might notice that I'm wearing gloves to do this, and this is because this plant has what's called oxalate crystals in it, and they can really irritate your skin. So you want to start off with clean scissors, and then you want to identify the pieces that you want to cut off and use to propagate. To choose good pieces that you want to propagate, you want to look for pieces that have good nodes on them. So the nodes will be little nodules that are on the stem, and sometimes they even look like little roots already, like on this one. I don't know if you can see that. See, it looks like it has a little root on it already. And that's a perfect piece for propagating, because that will just grow into a root right away. And then you cut that off, and I just usually lay it aside. I cut all of my pieces first usually before I plant them. So you just keep doing that with all of the pieces. So look for the nodules on the stem. Sometimes they're little round nodules, and sometimes they'll actually have roots growing out of them already. Sometimes you cut a piece off and it doesn't look like it's very good for propagating. So then I just kind of look it over, and if it's no good, I just discard it, like this one. And you always want to make sure that you plant the correct bottom half into the soil and not the top half. So in order to not get confused, I usually place them on the pile all facing the same way. Although with this plant, even if you put it the other way and there happens to be a node that you planted, it would probably still grow, but probably not as fast. Here you can see a really good example of the nodules already turning into roots. That one will grow really fast. I should also mention here that if you have any cats like I do, don't let them near this plant, don't let them play with it or eat any of the little leaves, because they are toxic. Chances are they won't really eat them because they don't taste very good, but you know how cats are. They're curious and they like to play with things, and these are the perfect little stringy things to play with for a cat. So keep an eye on it. when you're doing this, as well as when you have the plant up hanging or wherever you have it displayed, because cats will go for it. Okay, so then just keep repeating the same process. Find the pieces that you want to propagate throughout the whole plant until you're satisfied you have enough pieces for a new plant. So now that you have all your pieces that you want to propagate, you can start the planting process. Again, I keep them all in the same direction so that I can be sure that I plant the right thing facing down. So that's this end. You can see the nodule there. Put them to the side, take your pot, and then what I do is I use a paintbrush. I use the other side of a paintbrush. You can use a pencil, you can use a chopstick, whatever you want. And I make a little hole where I want the first branch to go. I usually start with the outside in because it's just easier to work like that. So then you want to stick the bottom end with the nodule into the hole that you just created, and then kind of use it to plant it in there. The bottom end of this paintbrush works great because it's kind of rounded off, so it kind of works like a little spatula to kind of shove it into the dirt there. And you don't have to worry if some of the leaves get planted into the soil. It doesn't matter. It doesn't affect the growth at all. The most important part is that you have the nodule in the soil. So the little root, the little node is in the soil, because that's what's going to form the root eventually. And like I said before, this is pre-moistened soil. It just works better this way. It's easier to work with. It doesn't get everywhere. And also then the plants already have moisture that they can grab onto right away. Okay, so then you just keep repeating this process, working your way into the middle of the pot until you've planted all your pieces. I usually put the longer pieces on the outside of the pot and then the smaller pieces in the middle, because then when they grow it looks like a nice cascading effect. And then once you're done planting all the cuttings, and I forgot to show you this part, but you can mist them with a spray bottle with water. That will give them some extra moisture. And here it is. And that's all there is to it. And now you just want to put it in a bright location, preferably a south-facing or east-facing window. You can also put it under grow lights, and they do grow very fast, so be prepared for that. You want to water it about once a week. If you notice them getting kind of grayish and spindly and kind of deteriorating, that means it needs more water. Some of them might not take, and some of them will look like that. They get kind of grayish, and that means they're not taking, but don't worry, leave it for a while. And most of them should take. Yeah, and that's all there is to that. If you have any questions or comments, let me know. As well as if you have anything to add to this, share your successes with me. That would be great. Let me know. And thanks for watching. Bye.